So hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video regarding this Fizzics machine. Here it is. It's like quite a thing of beauty, and I'm actually using it with the batteries. I was using it the other night with the batteries, and it was doing a great job of every beer I did. And you can play about with it, and sort of like you get to learn the machine a little bit. But anyway, it just suddenly dawned on me because using this ultrasonic sort of sound waves on the backward pour, it makes like that proper sort of smooth head and smooth pour. It really sort of like it must really like aggravate the CO2 in the beer and sort of get to make this really like sort of nitro type of headed foam. And it suddenly dawned on me, whoa, the old Budvar has that Pacific Czech pour, doesn't it? To get that nice, smooth, sort of dense, creamy head. Now, the way they do the pour, they have a chilled glass. It must be chilled. It must be rinsed and, you know, clean, obviously. And then they sort of like open the tap to get the foam coming out. And they just get the foam in. So there's a bit of foam going in the bottom. And then they put the nozzle right in and do a normal pour. Open the tap fully, do a normal pour. Get it about 3/4 of the way. Then they set it down, and that allows the head to densen up to get thicker. And then when that's settled for about 30 seconds, they then go in with the tap back in, the nozzle back in, and finish the pour off. And then you get the beer and the foam. Well, this ain't going to do it quite like that because one, I don't think I'm going to get the nozzle in the beer, and two, to create the foam you have to push this back first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a go, see if we can do a Czech pour. So what I've got a chilled Budvar, I've got a chilled glass, and I've got some fresh chilled water here just to rinse it in quick. Even though the glass is clean anyway, but the glass wants to be a little bit wet because that helps the foam to form. And I'm going to see if I can get some foam into the glass first by tipping it backwards, then pour it in the normal way, leave it for a bit, and then pour it in the normal way until the bottle runs out, basically. Now, the bottles are small, isn't there? So you have to be careful. You have to be careful you don't run out of beer before you've stopped pouring, because otherwise it does get a little spurt out. But you know, it's all experimental. So let's see if we can do it. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so here we are with a beautiful bottle of Budvar, the original Czech lager. This is really nice. Now, I've done the Czech pour out of the bottle, and it does work. I'm sure I've got a short on the channel that does it. I'm just going to get this. Now, what you're supposed to do is undo this and get it in here, you know, 30 seconds or so before. And yeah, and I can do the Czech pour. I've done a short on it, I think, on the channel, and it does do a nice head or whatever. But this has been doing a really dense, foamy head out of the beer, just like a nitro surge. This supersonic whizzing that it does in there really compacts the head together. So let's go and get the chilled Budvar glass. Oh, now you can already see the condensation forming on there. I've got down here the bucket of water. Now the glass is clean anyway, but you're supposed to have like just a slightly damp, like a slightly wet glass. So what we're going to do, I'm going to push this forward to get some foam in. Then I'll do a normal pour. Then we'll let it to settle down. And then we'll do the normal pour back in. Now, unfortunately, we can't put the nozzle in the beer, which they recommend you do. And I'm going to probably like email these to say, would it be great if, because it now comes with USB. I don't know how long that's been about, but it's battery operated, and it says, when I looked on the advertisement, it says now with USB power. So it's great, but it works fine with battery, and I used it quite a lot on Friday night, and it was brilliant. It was making the beer, it was really giving the beer some, you know, that nice foam before the beer, and the foam protects the beer. That's what it's all about. So right, look, the glass is nice and chilled. So let's get a little bit of surge to get some foam in here. Right, now I don't think we need much actually, because Oh, now that ain't bad at all. So that has pretty much done what it says. Give it a bit of foam first. Now, I was very cautious about that because when you push that back, it's sort of almost creating in there and then it comes out, as you see. And if you sort of wait until it actually does sort of, it bamboozles you. When you learn this machine, you do it, as the foam comes out, you think, oh, I'll just keep it on for a bit. But it really does create quite a good amount of foam. So yeah, so that's a bit of a learning curve. So let's set this down for 30 seconds and then we'll see what happens when we do the next pour. Right, okay, so let's now top it up and see what we get. Oh, look at that. Now, I think you will agree that if you go onto Budvar's website, that's where I learned the check. Well, when I say I learned check pour, that's where they show it, and they get the foam in first. They get the foam in, then they put the spout right in the beer, do it. The foam then comes up the top. They leave it for 30 seconds, then they do a normal pour, and the result is something similar to that. Now that is in a beautifully chilled glass. Look at that. The foam is dense. Look. Now, the reason that you leave it to settle for 30 seconds or so is just to allow the foam to just densen up a little bit. And then, of course, now we can enjoy this beer with this nice foam. And will this foam keep all the way down to the bottom? That is all dependent on how clean your glass is. So I'm going to drink this, and as I drink it, I'm just going to keep editing the video so you see bits and bobs. So it's a short video, and we'll see how the head retains. So cheers everybody, and cheers to this machine, the Fizzics machine. Absolutely blow me away at this moment in time. So here we go. Cheers everybody. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I know it's cold outside, but it's warm in here. So this nice cold original Czech Pilsner is absolutely nice. Right, so I'll be back in a second and for the next sip. Oh, absolutely lovely. So we've still got the foam in there, and well, I'm just gonna drink it again. This is a lovely. Oh, you know, like now when it's sort of cold outside and such, like I still enjoy a cold beer. I still enjoy a cold lager. But yeah, you know, but this, when I just thought about how the foam is, I thought, oh, I've got to try it with the Budvar, because I think the ultimate thing is to get that Czech pour, to get that foam on this beer, which you can't do quite as densely with just the pour out the bottle. You hold the bottle, you pour it quite hard, it makes the foam, leave it for a second, and then away you go again. But this is giving the foam, like, and it's still, I mean, we can swirl it around a little bit, still hanging about there. And it also says as well, to take this off, now, this is a 500ml bottle, and, oh, look, it's a 500ml bottle, what and I put some water, I put 500ml worth of water in, and I poured it into this this jug before I did this to sort of know how much play I've got. Because if you put a 330 bottle in here and you get a pint, you know, a pint glass, it's really difficult to gauge it. So it's all accountable of like gauging how much, using the right glass with the right bottle. So if you've got a 330ml bottle in there, use a smaller glass so you can gauge it. But I knew that 500ml brought it almost to the top. So I know with the foam that this is going to create, we're going to have enough beer. And lo and behold, look, I've got some beer left in there. So I'm just going to, no, I'm actually not going to do, I'll put that in the end because I just want to see, look, you know, we've still got the good levels of carbonation there. And the head's retaining. Pure and simple, beer clean glasses is the way to keep that foam. Really nice. I held that in front of the camera a little bit too much. Right, so look, we can see all the way down. That's really good. Let's swirl this out. Let's chuck this in just to aggravate this a bit more for that last bit. Now, when you try to create the foam from, I mean, that was just a big pour, but when you try to create the foam from pouring out of the bottles, it's a little bit more broken down. It's not as smooth. It's not as creamy as what this really does cream up. I had a New England IPA the other day and a pale ale, and it really gave it. It doesn't alter the flavour of the beer or anything. It doesn't ruin the beer. It doesn't do anything to the beer. If anything, it probably makes it a bit, you know, probably a little bit better on the mouthfeel, because it just gives it that sort of like more compacted type of foam head. Because I pour all the craft beers with a head now, and all beers with a head really. But yeah, so for this in particular, you want a nice foam out your beers and your lagers and everything. You know, part 2 of this sort of like physics machine chat. Yeah, it's another carry on the recommendation from me for this. Absolutely brilliant. I would go out and I would buy it. And at Lakelands at the minute, I've seen it, and it's at $129.99 as of today, which is the 17th of December. So, and the service is great. It came well packed. And yeah, and it's just a great machine. 2 batteries if you don't want to plug it in, or you can plug it in if you. But I took this in the house, put it on the table. I just kept putting a beer in it, just pouring it out. It was great. It was great fun as well. So yeah, here we go. Still got plenty of right to the end. Beautifully done. Cheers, everybody. That has really made that beer actually probably taste better than what I've had it before, because it's just brought out the mouthfeel a bit better. It really has. It's really has creamed it up a little bit. Really made it, you know, not creamy, but it's really made the mouthfeel nice. It doesn't feel like it's come out of a bottle light. It feels like it's come off the, you know, like you've had it out of a proper tap. That does. Absolutely excellent. Right, another physics video, giving this some praise. Go out and buy one. I'm not getting anything from this at all, other than sharing the love of this machine to so you can have a smile on your face as well. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe if you would. I would love that. And please put your comments in the comment box. I've been getting some fantastic comments and some really good feedback, and it really, really does warm my heart when I get some good feedback. And it really interests me when people bring their own views and their own opinions and their own interest over what we're doing to the table. I love that. Feedback's a gift, and I will really take on any positive, any constructive feedback all the while, because we're all learning, aren't we? We're all teaching each other. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Merry Christmas, and yeah, and a Happy New Year. But we're still rolling into Christmas. There's a few Christmas beer reviews coming up, and some real good ones. So, like, keep tuned. Take care. Spenno.